along.
Yep, moving along.
So remember you told me your goals that you wanted to make, how much money you wanted to make, how many policies, how
Absolutely.
quick you wanted to
Yeah.
promote and all that kind of stuff. Well, now we're going to talk about how to get there. Okay,
Nice.
what to do to
Okay.
get you there, right? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I want to
So,
know.
good. So
Right.
let's start out with a baseball analogy.
All
Okay,
right.
do you watch baseball by any chance?
No,
Yeah, I know, me neither.
it's hard.
I'll tell you, I live and die for the Lakers.
Oh
That's
yeah.
for sure. But, a lot of people know about baseball. So we
hmm
use a baseball analogy because it really explains it.
Okay.
Okay? So imagine one day, you've just decided that you're going to become involved with financial services, right? And you go to your Aunt Mary and you say, Aunt Mary, I just started a new career. Here's where I'm planting my flag. I really, I really want to do this. And if you know anybody that could that I could work with, right?
Yeah.
Please give them my name. Will you do that? You'll do that for me, won't you? And she says, Of course I will. I love you. You're my favorite nephew.
Yeah.
You're the greatest there is. I'll tell everybody, about it. So you say, Okay, thank you, Aunt Mary. That's so great. That's considered a
Mm.
base hit,
Okay.
a single, right? You got on base.
Yeah.
So the next day, Aunt Mary goes to work, and a friend of hers comes running up to her and says, You're not going to believe it, Mary. I just got laid off. And guess what? They've given me 60 days to move my 401k.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. You know anybody that'll move my 401k for me?
Yeah. Right. They do.
And guess what Aunt Mary says?
Yeah. I know
I don't
someone.
I don't know
Oh,
anybody
okay.
that does that. Because guess what? She doesn't know that that's part of
Okay.
find
What
it
would?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't know what's part of what you're doing or what her nephew is doing.
Mhm.
So she says, No, I don't really know anybody. So then you go to Aunt Mary and you say, Look, Aunt Mary, I really want you to see what we're doing.
Right.
Okay? So
Mhm.
would you sit down and watch a presentation with me? I'll show you the products and everything that we're doing and how I'm working and everything. It'll be really great. You're going to love it. You're going to get a lot out of it. And she says, Of course I will.
Yeah.
I love you. And so you sit down, you do the presentation for her, and she says, Oh my gosh, my girlfriend at work
Yeah.
just
Needs help.
right just
Yeah.
asked me the other day if I know anybody that could move her 401k for her.
Yeah.
I'll give you her number and you can call her up and you can make an appointment and you can do that for her.
Nice.
Would you do that?
Of
Of
course.
course you would, right?
Yeah. That's
So what do we call that?
in a double.
A double,
All
absolutely.
right.
So then a little bit later, your Aunt Mary calls you up and she says, I've been thinking about all those things that you said in that presentation, that you did for me. And I have this old 401k from your Uncle Bob from the company he used to work for before he died. And it's just been sitting there. Do you think I could do something with it?
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that a
That's a
triple?
triple.
Okay.
Right, that's a triple. And
Awesome.
then you show her the presentation, you move the money, and she comes to you and she says, they laid off a couple more people over at work, and guess what? I
They
might
need.
be next.
Oh. Okay.
So is there any way I can learn to do what you're doing?
Oh. Yeah.
Right? I can
That's
learn to
great.
do what you're doing, and I could
Yeah.
come into business and I could do it too.
Mhm.
And you say, Of course there is. That's a grand slam,
Awesome. Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Because ball games are not won exclusively on grand slams, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of people hitting, getting on base, filling up the bases, and then that's how the game is won. And it's similar to the way that we work also. You got to keep hitting and getting on base, hitting and getting on base. I mean, that's
Okay.
what you do.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Clear?
Clear.
Okay, great. So the other thing I wanted to tell you is that when we go out on these appointments, and I've mentioned this before, but I really want you to, see how I feel about it,
Okay.
is that we respect people in what they want to do and what's right for them. So if we go on an appointment in somebody's house for the family, we never sell them anything, we never push anything, we never do business on the first appointment. You know that, right?
Yeah.
We get to know them, we gather some information, we get to know their goals. And I'll tell you, usually by the time we leave that first appointment, they're really excited about us coming back because they realize that they're going to be learning stuff that they've been hungry for their whole life.
Yeah.
So let's say Same thing with your Aunt Mary. She refers you to Juanita, and Juanita says, hey, you know what? It's nice and everything, but it's just not for me.
Okay. Yeah.
We always want to leave on a good note because for a couple of reasons. It's a friend of your Aunt Mary's, right? So
Yeah.
we want to make sure that we treat everybody with respect. The other thing is, you can't really tell how many times stuff changes in a person's life and cycles around. And in 6 months from now, it might be a completely different situation. And they may give you a ring and say, hey, you know
Yeah.
what? We just had a baby and we
Okay.
want to start something for the child.
Yeah.
Or
And
believe it or
easy.
yeah,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So every appointment becomes a potential source
Later. Right.
for referrals,
Okay.
right? For referrals, and referrals are one of the backbones of our business. It's always nice to get new clients.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a guy who used to work with us, and he went out on an appointment with two friends of his, a husband and a wife, and they sat through the whole appointment. They were very, interactive, very receptive. And at the end, he said, well, how about if I gather some information and put a plan together for you guys? And they said, nah. And he really had to, you know, take a
Yeah.
deep breath
Right.
and say, okay, that's fine. He asked them for their reasons and everything, and he just left it at that. Well, don't you know, about a month later, the friend called him back and said, you know what? We're getting divorced, my wife and I. And so we couldn't really make any plan that
Mm.
had to do with the both of us. And we had our own
Mm.
personal issues that we were
Yeah.
working through, right? And we didn't want to speak about it, but we did want to give you the opportunity to do the appointment. And I want to do business with you now that we've kind of settled how we're going to split,
Mhm.
our business. And guess what? So does my wife. And so he
Okay.
got two
Yeah.
he got two clients out of the deal instead of one by just
But
simply being
yeah,
respectful,
not pushing.
by not pushing and by
Okay.
being respectful. So, you have to always
Yeah.
be respectful is the bottom line about it. And people want to do business with us, they do business with us. If they don't, that's their prerogative.
Okay.
Okay, so I just wanted you to know that your friends and people that if you're doing business with them, if you're going to talk to them, they'll probably think more of you, if that's even possible, after when you're ready to leave than when you first
Yeah.
started.
I
Okay.
see what you mean.
All right, so this is all fun and games, but let's get down a little bit. Um, let's get down a little bit to business. But it's fun business because we're going to play a game right now. Okay,
Okay.
I call it the name game.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions, and you are going to shoot, excuse me, names out at me. Okay.
All right.
Now I want you to know that I'm not going to ask you to call any of these people on your own. We'll get some names, and then we'll talk through it. We'll see what the best way is to talk to them, whether or not they're good prospects for you, anything like that. Okay? But I'm never going to ask you now, at this point anyway, to
Talk to me.
approach these people on your own without some support and some help. Okay, so right now all we're doing is playing a game. We're just playing a name game. I'm going to throw some concepts out at you. You give me the names. I'm just going to type them in here, and we're just going to see if we can make a list. Let me tell you, we play this game a lot. The winner came up with 50 names in a 15-minute period. I don't know if we can beat that, but we can certainly give it a shot.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm going to start writing down the names. So let's begin. Okay?
Okay.
Do you know anybody that's good with people?
Yeah, of course.
Can you tell me their name?
Sure. Um, like friends of mine.
Anybody that you know that's good with people.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Guess Michelle. Yeah. Cole. Probably. Um, Cole's mom, of course. Good with people. Um, oh, Braden's good with people. I'd say. Um, oh, Aaron's good with people. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Um, guess that's about it. Michelle's another Michelle's good with people.
Okay, great. Anybody that you know that is a great parent and like one of those parents that like takes her kids to all the games and drives them around their minivans and stuff like that, or did when you were younger.
Yeah, I guess. Well, there are some parents that I was just friends with, like Suzanne and um, I guess Anthony Bettini's parents, I guess, would be somewhat like that.
Okay, great.
And
Great.
Dominic, his parents probably would be like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are their names?
I don't know, but I know the children's names.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. How about somebody who coached Little League or soccer when you were in it? You remember any of those people that you met or stayed in touch with?
Hmm. Maybe my karate coach, right? Garba. That might be someone that might be in the area still, but not
Okay.
really that I've kept in touch with.
Okay.
Yeah.
A great teacher, somebody at
Yeah.
Sumac.
Of
Okay.
course. Yeah. Um. Gosh. Probably not at elementary school. More like middle school
Okay.
and high school.
Okay.
But yeah, like Mrs. Ross and um, Ingraffia, Mr. Chibnall, definitely,
Okay.
and Lewis and Griffin or Griffith. Let's see. Yeah, Bautista and Mr. Post, I guess, somewhat.
Wow.
hmm
Okay. How about somebody that owns their own home and really takes care of it? Like who has real pride and ownership in their home and their property?
Our neighbor Amir, definitely. Probably Nick's parents, definitely. Um, Guy, his name is. And then
Okay.
Braden, of course.
Okay.
Yvette and yeah,
You bet. Okay.
absolutely.
All right. Okay, well, that's about 30 names. We've already got 30 names on the list.
All right.
This is pretty much fun, right?
Yeah, it's
It's like
pretty.
a walk down memory lane. You start to remember people that you kind
Yeah,
of forgot and everything. It's really great.
yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
so let me help you kind of work through the rest of this, okay? And give you
Okay,
kind of an idea of what we look for.
okay.
So the last one on your list was Yvette.
hmm
So is she owns her own home,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
And she's a mother of your friend Braden,
hmm
right? Does that family earn more than $50,000 in a
Yes.
big way, right?
Yeah, in
Yeah,
a month.
in a
Right.
month. I know, I know what you mean. So, and they're obviously over 30, over
Yeah, they're
25 or 30. They're in their
probably
50s.
over 50.
Okay. Okay, so that's great. So tell me something about Yvette. Like, what is it that makes her tick? Like three characteristics about her that we really.
I guess being pretty high class, that's important to
Okay.
her.
Okay.
Staying um, like well off with money, and she's never gonna let herself, like, she has pride in herself, and she
Nice.
has a lot of children that she has a lot of pride in, and um she's very she
Positive, I think, is
yeah
what you're saying. Like, she's a
hmm
positive person
yeah,
and
she's not just gonna, like, do something bad or
crazy.
leave.
She's a
Yeah,
good parent, a good person.
yeah,
That's really great.
yeah,
Yeah.
she works out a lot too, and that always helps, so
Caring, cares about
hmm
herself, cares about her children.
yeah,
Those are all great
exactly.
things. So, what do you think motivates her? Like,
Oh
does
yeah.
she need more money? Does she want, I don't know. Or what do you think would be like a hot button for her? Something that would be very important to her. Um,
Yeah, money, and of course maintaining money, because I know they've been through some investments with car companies and other companies, and they just lost money.
ah,
And
jeez.
yeah,
Ah,
that's just
jeez.
awful. And so preserving money, that would be something they would be interested in, keeping a lot of money going. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. And then what about like a goal? For example, I think probably her best goal would be like carrying, keeping her family together or something like that. Like
Yeah.
that would be a hot button for her.
Okay.
Yeah. I just want to move this a tad so we can get you in the picture too.
Okay.
All right.